Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan and I am back again with some more MDL action this week. We've been off to a bit of a slow start, but this week we get Jess, who was the Season 1 champion. We always have a bunch of great sets together. And the team this week is pretty interesting, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So, pardon me, COVID. So on her side, we have the Rapid Strike Urshifu, the Moltres, the Mimikyu, Mew, Togetic, and Snorlax. So I have two potential leads into this. The first is Sableye Gourgeist with the thought to proc my own weakness policy after basically annoying whatever this Togetic set is. Try and stall out Trick Room if she sets it, otherwise just try and go in with the Gourgeist. And then come in late game with Zamazenta and maybe some speed control Silvally if the Sableye goes down to help out the Gourgeist. And that's what I'm going to be going for in Game 1. This is a really interesting match. Technically, I have 3 Ghost types on my team this week, with the Gourgeist, the Sableye, which barely counts, and then I'm also running Ghost Silvally, because I want Mew dead, and that's really all there is to it. Don't want to let the Mew go off, and also this helps me with the Mimikyu as well, although it also makes me very weak to the Mimikyu. So, don't like the Moltres lead, because depending on the bulk, Moltres can survive me unless I've procced a weakness policy, and although it doesn't kill me, it comes really close in max. And if it's max Charty Berry, it definitely survives, but you don't really think Charty Berry up against my team. So, I just sort of want to test her bulk here, because if she maxes the Moltres and Airstreams and survives my hit, then I could be in some trouble. But that also means she's not going for Trick Room, which means my late game is going to look pretty decent and that Moltres will have taken a chunk. So, I debate between a couple of different potential techs here, but in the end I decided to quash the Moltres, and we're just going to max Rockfall it. Just, if it maxes, this will get substantial damage on it even if it doesn't kill, and set me up for a decent late game, because even if she, Airstreams and kills with Mimikyu, this doesn't look like a Trick Room lead, and my back beats non-Trick Room leads pretty convincingly, especially without max. But I'm maxing first, so this Moltres isn't maxing, which means if it's not protecting, it's dead. Like, even with the Charty Berry, there's a chance it survives, but it's probably dead. Quash comes out. Give Moltres pats. And Mimikyu uses Play Rough. Cool. Sableye will go to Sash, and Moltres will die. I will be setting Sand here, unfortunately, so my Sableye will go down even with the Sash, but it's the nature of the beast sometimes with the lead. No Charty Berry, Moltres dies. Sableye will go down there, and now I have to figure out what I want to bring in, because Max Mimikyu looks like it could be the plan here. I know Max Mimikyu doesn't one-shot Gourgeist, and it will trigger my weakness policy if it tries to. Zamazenta doesn't seem bad, but the Silvally is really bait here. But I think Silvally is actually the play a lot of the time, because what it will let me do is, even if the Togetic comes out, it will let me Snarl to break the Mimikyu's thingamajig, and then I can launch attacks into the Togetic, which will be able to redirect 2 attacks, but Mimikyu will not be able to kill me in that time frame. And if Mimikyu kills the Silvally, then Zamazenta just gets to come in and do Zamazenta things. So yeah, this is definitely Max Mimikyu. I could see a world where it uses Sword Stance here, but that feels super risky considering I've got a lot of very, very threatening looking things on this team, and Max Phantasm will lower the defense of the Togetic and make it get 2-shot, even if it's 252 bold. So, keep her honest. We'll launch the Max Phantasm into the Mimikyu, make her follow me, because if she doesn't follow me and I hit the Mimikyu, that's even better for me. And then Snarl should just break the Mimikyu's disguise. It won't really do anything into the Togetic, but I will get some damage onto the Togetic. So this turn's going to go basically exactly like I drew it up. The Togetic will use Follow Me. Savali will break Mimikyu's disguise. The special attack being lowered doesn't really matter. Disguise goes down. And now the Mimikyu is vulnerable to a lot of things. Max Phantasm comes out into Savali. I should survive that, and I do. But I will go down to Sand, which is sort of the ideal situation for me, if I'm being honest. It dying there would have been fine too. But Phantasm comes on out. I hit the Togetic. I can tell that it is basically fully defensively invested based on that. A special defensive invested one could take upwards of 60% from that, so that's going to be probably 252 bold. But now it's at -1 defense, as is the Mimikyu, so I get my Zamazenta in, and Zamazenta carries Iron Head, and at -1, no Togetic from that range is surviving an Iron Head from Zamazenta. It'll be faster than the Gourgeist, and then Gourgeist will survive whatever the Mimikyu hits it with, and then Gourgeist will take down the Mimikyu, and I've set myself up in a 2v1 with about a half-health Gourgeist and a full-health Zamazenta against something. That's the plan, at least. She could screw that up by attacking into the Zamazenta, but +1 defense Zamazenta is going to survive anything a Mimikyu without an attack-boosting item throws at it. And I guess it could be Expert Belt, but I'm still surviving that pretty comfortably. But, here comes the... I'm going over my calcs here. Like, this is my thought process in game. Like, this is what I wanted to get to, but I'm just thinking, okay, what could she do to screw this up for me? And it's something like Protect, Togetic, have Mimikyu go... Yeah, I couldn't really come up with anything, so I just go with what seems like a straightforward play. So the Togetic will... She's taking a while to think. Like, this is a tricky turn on her end, because I think the optimal play on her end is Protect Togetic and then try and set up an endgame where something might be able to 1v2 because you buy a turn of not getting hit by Zamazenta, but Iron Head Zamazenta takes down the Togetic. Max Phantasm comes on out, but it's into the Gourgeist. Gourgeist eats that all day. Okay, it doesn't eat that all day. Like, that's still a lot of damage. But, and now, Zamazenta's at neutral defense, but my weakness policy gets activated. So the weakness policy comes on out, and Phantasm. +2 into a -1 Mimikyu. That thing is hella dead. Mimikyu goes on down, and then I've set myself up in basically the ideal 2v1. Like, Zamazenta, when something can't max, should be able to 1v1 basically any Pokemon in the game, in this format. And it's a Mew. I've got Crunch. I've got Assault Vest. I don't go down to a single hit. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what could possibly go wrong here? An attack into Zamazenta that crits and Poltergeist missing? Feels like a potential worst case scenario for me. Maybe a Colbur Berry, an attack into the Gourgeist, and then an attack into Zamazenta and crit. And I think her most likely out is going to be the Colbur Berry. But I do want to Poltergeist hit a Seed Bomb. Like, at +2, Seed Bomb probably kills, and it's probably a slightly more accurate thing, but Mew could be bulky enough to live that, and also getting that item knowledge is going to be so important for future games in the set, but it's not Colbur Berry, and the attack goes into the Gourgeist, so I don't get to see the item. But I do learn right here that it is in fact Life Orb, and then I'm able to finish this up with Zamazenta using Crunch, because that's unstoppable at this point. But I also see that it's special Life Orb Mew, so I picked up some good information late game here. Yeah, so that's basically game 1. This Crunch will take out the Mew and give me a 1-0 victory, and I have to decide if I want to try the same thing for game 2 or pivot into my other strategy. So I'll be right back around with game 2. So, moving into game number 2, I decided that I want to go with my other lead, which is going to be the Kyurem Silvally lead, which I think handles the Trick Room mode slightly worse, like the Togetic Mimikyu stuff, but I think it handles everything else a lot better. And she did lead the Moltres game 1, and I don't really want to deal with that with Gourgeist the second time around, because she'd have the chance to calc and see what damage output looks like and see that she could probably kill it. So, Zamazenta in the back, and then trying to pick a fourth thing in the back. Honestly, any of these work pretty well for me. I think Gourgeist has an argument if I think she's going to be going into the Urshifu. Rotom has an argument if I think she's going to go into the Urshifu or the Moltres. But Sableye has an argument just to be annoying, come in and help me steamroll if something goes down early. So I think I'm going to go with the Sableye. So I'll end up going with the Sableye here. And I took a while to lock in, but again, Jess is also taking a little bit to lock in here. This is a tricky matchup to maneuver around on the team selection, because any combination of 2 mons that I have, she has a combination of 2 that beats it, but also a combination of 2 that just loses to it. And they aren't the same mons for everything, which is why I wanted to change it up just a little bit here. So we go into the game, and she sends out the Mimikyu and Mew. So this is probably a pretty neutral lead for me. I know it's Life Orb Mew, and it's special, but if I led the Gourgeist Sableye here, I wouldn't be the most confident person in the world, because I believe the Mew and Mimikyu would be able to kill it before it got an attack off, so I'm happy that I went with this lead instead of the Gourgeist Sableye at this point. So I'm considering my options, and I realize that I have a grand total of 1 max option this game, and it's the Kyurem, because this Silvally doesn't really want to max. So we're just going to Phantasm the Mew, and we're going to have some fun with that. Phantasm into Mew, no matter what happens, should set me up to have one-shot pressure on both of these Pokemon, so I'm also just going to Tailwind, because this Silvally is going to be faster than the Kyurem. And since the Silvally is faster than the Kyurem, I'll be able to Snarl and Phantasm the Mimikyu if I need to next turn. But the Mew goes ahead and maxes. Oh, it's adorable. So Mew maxes, and then we get the Max Kyurem. I really like the Dynamax Aura Reflection that Kyurem gets when it maxes. I don't know, I just think it's pretty neat how it reflects off the ice in the front of its body. But the Mew is faster than the Kyurem, which we expect, because this is a pretty bulky Kyurem, and I'm not outspeeding Mew most of the time anyway. And it does have Airstream. Airstream goes into Silvally, it will raise the Mimikyu's speed. So here she 100% can just kill the Silvally if that's her targeting. Which she does with Shadow Claw. At least I'm pretty sure that kills. I'm pretty sure that's not a roll on my end. So I'm not going to have a speed advantage, but what I do have is a lot of bulk, and a huge bulk advantage now, because this Mew is obviously in kill range from anything at -1 defense. and then this Mimikyu at -1 defense is in kill range of once the disguise is broken. So I know I never revealed Shadow Sneak on Sableye, but I take a lot of time. I take a lot of time to think through my options here, because there's a world where I just want Zamazenta's bulk, but in game theorying it out, she probably wants to protect the Mew, and she could max guard the Mew because she wouldn't think that I'd be able to kill the Mimikyu this turn. But I've got Shadow Sneak on the Sableye, which she doesn't know about. She can probably assume it because of the weakness policy Gourgeist. But this Shadow Sneak can effectively break the disguise, and then I can kill it with, at this point, an Airstream from the Kyurem. But the other option is if I don't think she's going to protect Mew, I can always just kill the Mew this turn. So the read here is if I think she's going to max guard Mew or not, because if she doesn't max guard Mew, the obvious play is double the Mimikyu. If she does max guard Mew, or if she doesn't max guard Mew, the obvious play is quash and kill Mew. Because I don't want Kyurem to take a double up. But if she does max guard Mew, doubling into this Mimikyu, getting off Airstream is going to be absolutely huge. I almost clicked Phantasm, but then I realized it's at -1, so Airstream will kill it basically all the time. Especially after it takes some disguise damage. So that's the decision I'm going to make. I'm going to call the max guard on the Mew, double into the Mimikyu, and try and put myself into an advantageous 3v3, because I'm in a 3v4 right now, but I don't feel bad about it. And the Mew max guards. Okay. So Kyurem is still going to be slower than Mew, because Mew will be at +1 speed, but the next Pokemon that comes out will be at neutral, so Kyurem will be faster than it. Disguise gets broken. Mimikyu does get a play rough off. Focus Sash. And Airstream. This is a great play. So the Mew is going to still be the fastest thing on the field, but I've got Sableye with Quash. The odds of getting a double are not great, and the only thing that could threaten is that if Urshifu comes out with an Aqua Jet, otherwise I will get the Quash off into the Mew. And even if I don't get the Quash off in the Mew because the Urshifu comes out, Mew is not going to be killing Kyurem. But instead Moltres comes on out, which means I'm pretty sure Urshifu is not going to be back there. So here I just want to kill Mew, because then Kyurem will be the fastest thing on the field, and I'll just get the Quash and the Phantasm out into that slot. Lowering the defense of the Moltres will put it in kill range from a lot of things next turn, depending on what her last Pokemon is. But the Mew goes down. Moltres at -1 defense. I've got Wild Charge Zamazenta in the back, that'll take it down. This Kyurem with an Icicle Spear, if I hit 3 of them, will take it down. Kyurem dodges here, which if it hit and burned, I think Heat Wave can burn. That is a potential out for her here. I mean, it's not a great out because she'd have to figure out how to functionally deal with this Zamazenta with Snorlax Moltres. But I'm at +1 defense now. Kyurem shrinks. And I'm just threatening a lot here. I have to figure out what my most likely kill combination is, how to not get punked by a Protect. And I think what it's going to end up being is Kyurem attacking into the Moltres, trying to get the 3-roll or higher to get that KO. And then Zamazenta close combating the Snorlax. because Zamazenta should kill basically any Snorlax set. And then even though I'm at -1 special defense, I am AV, so even if this Moltres survives and kills the Kyurem, it's not going to kill the Zamazenta at effectively neutral special defense. I do consider the Wild Charge into the Moltres to make sure it goes down, because if I only get 2 on the Icicle Spear, Snorlax isn't going to do anything, because I don't think Snorlax kills anything from this range, but this just seems like the most consistent. So Moltres looks pretty bulky. I don't know if 3 is going to kill here, but 3 do connect, and it goes down. And then Zamazenta is just able to play cleanup with a nice close combat. So yeah, good games to Jess. Got my first win this season. Feels good to be getting back on track, seeing the team do what it can do. But I am looking forward to next week when I am going up against the, at the time of recording, currently undefeated Dina. And I'll see you next time. Bye.